So hi everyone, today we are going to take a look into what I believe is one of the hottest new launch in 2025, and that is none other than the Orie. Now, the Orie means origami, and in today's video we are actually going to study the location plan, the site plan. We're going to deep dive a little bit more into this project to understand why this could be a good investment potential for you. In terms of project information of the Orie, it's jointly developed by three very big developers, which is your CDL, Frasers, as well as your Sekisui House. Developers, I would say they are top-notch. They have built developments like your Norwood Grand, Tembusu Grand, Key Residences, etc. So rest assured, the furnishing and the timeline usually will be quite good for these developers. Now you can see that the Orie is what I consider quite a large development. It has a total of 777 units across two blocks of 40 stories. So this is going to be a very high-rise development. This is something for us to take a look and to take note when you are looking at the floor loading per floor. Now, it is located in the West of Central region at District 12, which is your Toa Payoh-Bishan area. So, of course, this is a very popular location because it's very central, and there's actually been no new launches in the past 10 years after Gem Residences. It is a 99-year-old leasehold, and in terms of your car park lots, if you're wondering, it is almost 1:1. There's a total of 627 car park lots to a total of 777 units. Now, let's take a look into the location of Orie. Okay, so you can see your Orie here is at Lorong 1 Toa Payoh. As I mentioned, it is about 5 minutes walk to Braddell MRT, and from Braddell MRT it's only one stop away from Toa Payoh, which is where you get your hub and your amenities, and if you go up it will be one stop away from your Bishan interchange. In terms of schools, primary schools, within the 1 km radius you have good schools. I think the most famous one is your Pei Chun Public School. You also have your CHIJ Primary Toa Payoh, as well as your First Toa Payoh Primary School. So in terms of upcoming amenities, I don't know if you're aware, but at Toa Payoh there is going to be an upcoming integrated sports hub, which is across the current HDB hub. So that is something to look forward to for investors looking into the Orie when it comes up in about 2030. Let's take a look more into the unit mix, okay? So as I mentioned, there's a total of 777 units, starting all the way from your 1 bedroom plus study all the way to your 5 bedroom. Okay, so if you take a look, what I consider your investment units from your 1 bedroom plus study all the way to 3 bedroom, you have about 60% of the units dedicated to that, and then the balance 40% will be your family-oriented units like your 3 bedroom premium all the way to your 5 bedroom. One thing that I find very interesting is that you actually have 4 different types of 2 bedroom. You have your 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 2 bed, 2 bath, 2 bed premium, 2 bed premium plus study. And because this Orie is actually a post-harmonized project, so the square feet is going to be very efficient because you are paying for all the area that you actually get to use. I believe that the 2 bedrooms will actually be very popular option based on quantum in today's market. And another thing that might be interesting is you see that there is actually a 3 bedroom, the C1 type, which is actually 850 square feet. I don't know if you all know, but in the market, usually our 3 bedroom is starting from about 950 square feet and above. So I'll be very interested to see how the developers squeeze out 3 bedroom into 850 square feet. Now let's take a look into the site plan. Okay, so you can see that the Orie, the 2 towers, right, your block 10 and your block 12. So all the units are actually north-south facing, so that's good because you don't have to worry about the east-west sun. On your north side, you have Lorong 1 Toa Payoh, and then that is where you exit and then you walk 5 minutes to Braddell MRT. On the south side, you will have your Lorong 4, which is facing your Orchard and CBD. Orie is actually going to be a full condo because it has full condo facilities such as a 50-meter lap pool, and very importantly, you have your tennis court. And when I was looking at the site plan, I also thought it's interesting because in this area over here, you actually have your co-working lounge. So I think nowadays when people have hybrid work or work from home, it is very nice to have a co-working lounge. That means that you don't have to work in the house, you can actually go outside there and do some work. Now let's take a look into the bigger location. You can see the superimposed site plan. This is from a drone view. Okay, so this is the Orie. And if I were to zoom out, you can actually see that Gem Residences is just across the road. So it is to your kind of 5 o'clock. And to your north, your HDB, the highest floor is only 12 stories, which means that anything above that you will have unblocked view. And then to your south, the highest is actually your HDB across at 4 stories. So I think anything above that, the south side, you actually have a good view towards the CBD, where potentially everywhere you can take a look at the fireworks. Okay. Now let's take a look into the floor plan analysis today. Let's see from your 1 bedroom plus study. So this of course is usually the investment type unit lah. People who buy this to rent out to someone else. So 1 bedroom plus study at A1S. I think this study at about 3.3 square meters is large enough for you to fit a single bed inside. So your dimension is about 1.3 meters by about 2.1. Usually a single bed is about 0.9 meters by 1.9 meters, so definitely able to squeeze in a single bed into the study, which you can potentially enclose into a small room. So let's take a look into the floor plan analysis for the 2 bedrooms. Let's take a look at the first one, which is your B1, which is at stack 5 and stack 15, and this is your 2 bed 1 bath. So one of the things I like about this particular layout is actually its dumbbell layout. So this means that you do not have a lot of wasted space in terms of the walkway area. So it's quite efficient. And one of the things you notice is the kitchen actually has a window. So potentially you can enclose up the kitchen because it has a window area and you can let all the smells ventilate by itself. So that's one thing good about the 2 bed 1 bath, which of course is going to be very popular for the investor or the young couple profile. Now let's take a look at the 2 bed 2 bath, which is your B2 unit at stack 1 at stack 11. So again, this is a dumbbell layout. The benefit is you have 2 bathrooms, and a lot of times in the resale market we see that the 2 bed 2 bath actually is easier to sell off than the 2 bed 1 bath, because when you have a 2 bed 1 bath and you have friends, you have family over for meals, sometimes it's very awkward for them to walk through your master bedroom and use your toilet. And also sometimes in the morning or the peak hour when you are rushing to school or rushing to work, having only 1 bathroom and someone have a stomach ache, it can be quite a challenge lah. So of course, if budget allows and all that, 2 bed 2 bath of course will be a much better investment profile. Now you have your 2 bedroom premium, your B3. This is your stack 10 and your stack 20. Okay, so this one is no longer a dumbbell layout. This is the usual kind of like leaf layout. So you have some corridor space, which people like because some people feel that it gives you more privacy. When you open the door, when your guests come, it's not like they see every part of your house already lah. Okay, your bedrooms are tucked away at one corner. But this one, you can see the kitchen is L-shaped. Okay, so good because sometimes L-shaped kitchen, when you're cooking and you want to serve, it's easy. From the kitchen itself, you can see all the way to the living. So if they have young kids or they have family gatherings, it feels more open. The kitchen doesn't feel very separated or very dark lah. And then you have the 2 bedroom plus study, the B4S. So again, this one is back to the dumbbell layout, and this one is interesting because again your kitchen is potentially enclosable and your study area is actually quite big at 2.45 meter by the width and about 1.55 by the height. You can put in a single bed. So I would say the 2 bedroom plus study unit could be quite attractive. Now moving on to the 3 bedroom. Okay, this is the one that I think is quite interesting, the C1 type, because it is a 3 bedroom at 850 square feet. I think this is very rare in today's market to have a 3 bedroom at this size, and because of the size, potentially the quantum will be very attractive in today's new launch market. So this is your stack 6 and your stack 16. So how they achieve this, let's take a look. So you can see from the floor plan that they used a dumbbell layout to achieve the 3 bedroom. The kitchen again potentially can be closed, and there is even a store area inside. That's good for families because when you're a family, you definitely need a lot of storage area. Yeah, very regular, very efficient use of space. So I would say that the 3 bedroom, I think this C1 unit will go very quickly, especially if they are families with maybe only 1 kid or max 2 children. Now let's take a look at the other 3 bedrooms. If you compare the size, it is almost about 200 square feet more than the C1 type. So what is the extra 200 square feet going to be used for? So you can see that in this layout, you have some extra space at the walkway at the entrance. So this is useful because I think for family, sometimes you like to have shoe rack, you like to have an area to put your family photos, your ornaments. So a lot of times for family profile with 2 kids, 3 kids, you would kind of need to have a helper to help you lah, to manage and all that. So this is where your household shelter comes in very helpful. It can double as a maid's room. Otherwise, I think the layout is quite similar. You have more privacy. It's not the dumbbell layout, so the bedrooms are tucked away at one side. So of course, if you ask me for a 3-bedroom, should you look at the C1 or the C2? I think it really depends on your family makeup. But of course, as we know, if you're looking at investment, the larger the square footage, the better in terms of your ROI. Because when the prices jump by per square feet, if you have a larger base area, of course your potential capital gains will be higher. In the middle of it, you actually have a very interesting 3-bedroom dual key at 1130 square feet. Okay, so I would say this 3-bedroom dual key is unique because it's split it actually is into a 2-bed 2-bath and then one more 1-bed 1-bath lah, which is your studio. I think this is very good for people who are investors because they're looking at the rental yield. Instead of buying 2 properties and incurring the ABSD, they buy a dual key and then they can immediately rent out the studio or the other one. This is also very good for multi-gen families. If you have a grandparent or a child or a sibling who wants to stay kind of together but still have a little bit of privacy, I think a 3-bedroom dual key is the way to go. But of course, in the resale market, a 3-bedroom dual key sometimes can take a little bit longer to sell off because the buyer profile needs to be like you, meaning to say they are investors or they are also another multi-gen family. Now let's take a look at your 4-bedroom. So for your 4-bedroom, D1 and D2, the size is the same, it's just the orientation is a little bit different. I would say for the 4-bedroom wise, is almost the same as the 3-bedroom. You need to have your household shelter. I think the space efficiency is very similar. It is a good space width and lengthwise for your living and your dining area. You can even separate out a dry kitchen and a wet kitchen. So your dry kitchen, you can put your Nespresso machine, etc. And then the wet kitchen is where you do your real walkway lah. So 4-bedroom, definitely if your family nucleus is that big, you need the space. Of course, a 4-bedroom presents very good capital appreciation because there are not many of such supply in the market today. So the next floor plan that we're going to analyze is actually the 4-bedroom premium plus study. So this is looking at about 1,367 square feet and we have a total of about 39 units at stack 18, which is your north-facing stack at the Orie. So this is the stack that is the nearest towards the Braddell MRT. Now looking at this floor plan, I would say that it's definitely very efficient. You have the household shelter, you have your area for the helper to stay in, and also for the kitchen, you will notice that there's a separation between the dry kitchen and the wet kitchen. And one thing that I like about this is that your wet kitchen actually comes with a window. So this helps for your ventilation when you're doing cooking. Another area, if you look at the corridor, you will notice that there is an additional storage space. So this is on top of your household shelter. I think the developer put this in because it will be helpful for you if let's say you all want to put items like your robo cleaner, your mop, etc. or your luggages. This storage area is going to be very helpful for you. And remember that this is in addition to the household shelter that you already have. Okay, and the next thing is because this is a 4-bedroom premium plus study, you actually have about 5.5 square meter for your study space that is tucked away very near to your master bedroom. So of course you can use this as a study, you can use this as a work from home kind of area. But another thing that I want you to know is that this study being about 5.5 square meters is actually large enough for you to put up to even a single bed. So this can be used as a small guest room, or if maybe you have visitors or elderly parents who are coming to stay. In a master bedroom, sometimes the husband and wife, when they put in all the clothes, they find that not enough space. So this is where the study comes in very handy. The study becomes an extension of your master bedroom. You can have a walk-in wardrobe. Most people with large families are going to be comparing this unit with the 5-bedroom, which I'm going to analyze next. Okay, and the last floor plan that we're going to analyze today is actually the 5-bedroom. And the 5-bedroom, you have a total of 77 units across 2 stacks, your stack 2 and your stack 12. Looking at this, we are having about 1,453 square feet in total. So a lot of times for 5 bedrooms, you are probably a family, with a lot of relatives, or you like to throw family gatherings, or you have a lot of parties with friends coming over. And this is where it's very useful to have a private lift to give your family and your guests that very exclusive feeling. So this is what the 5 area at Orie is going to give you. Right, you have a private lift where you can put your shoe cabinet, etc. A little area for you to put on your shoes. And then you actually have another entrance at the back door, which is at your wet kitchen. So this is very helpful if you order your Grab food. This is where your Grab food delivery personnel can come and pass you your orders. Another thing that I like about this 5 bedroom is if you look at the kitchen, at the yard, you actually have a nice window ventilation there. So if you are doing your wok pay in the kitchen, you don't need to worry about the smell because the window ventilation will be there. Another area that I quite like is also that you see the junior master, and the junior master bath is actually right beside the master bedroom and the master bath. I have seen some 5 bedroom units in the resale market. For example, I was looking at it at Clavon. Your junior master and junior master bath is actually on the other side of the master bedroom. Meaning to say your 5 bedroom layout is kind of like a dumbbell layout with the junior master on one side and all the other rooms in the master bedroom on the other side. Personally, I think that kind of layout works well if you have maybe like a grandparent who is staying with you guys, because I think it's very hard to decide who among your children is going to take the junior master on the other side of the living room. So I would say for the Orie layout, I think for a 5 bedroom this makes a lot of sense because you have a little bit more privacy with the alleyway, and you also have all your bedrooms tucked towards one side of the unit. So when you have your friends and family over, you can have a proper separation between your living space and your public area. Now we have come to the most exciting part of today's analysis of the Orie, and that is the Orie a good buy? Well, let's take a look at it from a few different perspectives. Looking at Chuan Park, which was one of the hottest selling projects in 2024, that was going for a pre-harmonized PSF about 2,579 on average. Now, imagine that you have to add another 6 to 7% to the per square feet to make it equivalent to a post-harmonized project like the Orie, which means you are going to look at average about 2,750 per square feet. Now, if the Orie is expected to launch between 2005 to 2007, do you think that is a good buy compared to a Chuan Park? Let's take a look at other factors. A lot of times when we look at whether a new launch is a good buy, we always have to look into what is the exit strategy as well. We know that in 2030, which is pretty much the time where the Orie is going to TOP, there is going to be a major transformation in terms of the Toa Payoh and Bishan rejuvenation. So this is when the Toa Payoh Integrated Development, Sports Centre, Polyclinic and Public Library is going to be completed. So that is one big thing that is going to help push up your capital appreciation. If you're going to look into HDB upgrader pool, as we mentioned, we know that Toa Payoh is home to one of the most numbers of 1 million HDB sales. In fact, one of the highest HDB sale ever in the resale market was actually at Toa Payoh for about 1.7 million. So now, knowing that you have a pool of HDB upgraders who have made a handsome profit from the sale of their resale and who are looking to buy into a private property in Toa Payoh, do you think that the Orie will be a good bet, being the newest private property in Toa Payoh? And lastly, one of the last things that I would recommend for you if you are looking to invest into the Orie as a new launch investment property would be to consider the floor loading. Now you got to bear in mind that the Orie is a 777 unit project across 2 towers of 40 stories. So what this means to me is that we got to consider what is the floor loading, or what is the premium that you are willing to pay per floor, to analyze what is the unit or what levels of stacks you should be buying into for your investment property. So I hope that you liked today's analysis into the Orie, which I believe is one of the hottest new launch projects in 2025. So if you like this video, you can give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment into what kind of topics you would like me to cover for you in the next few videos. So once again, my name is Dominic, and I hope you enjoyed today's Orie video.